It is Mother's Day. Good morning to you. D-Row has the pink bat over there, and he always said he used it for his first at-bat because he loved it, but then he's a creature of habit. So he switched back to his regular bat. What will the guys do on Sunday for their moms?
Lauren, good morning. A happy early Mother's Day to you, to all of the baseball families out there. What a special day on the Major League Baseball calendar. And I want to make sure I begin first with Alek Manoah, a great photo that was shared by the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday. There's Alek and his mom, Susanna. She throws out the first pitch on Sunday with Alek behind the plate. So what a great moment for the Manoah family. Alek has spoken so much about what Susanna has meant in his journey. So just I can't wait to see that moment on Sunday. Among many moments, our colleagues at MLB.com putting together some extraordinary stories for all 30 teams about some great Mother's Day connections and stories of influence and what every family has brought to this great game. And one that I want to highlight, Christina Di Nicola has done a great job, and the story is going to be posted today, writing about Sandy Alcantara and his family, and an extraordinary family. And here's the story of Sandy and his eldest sister, Aridia. Now, Aridia is, again, the oldest of 11 siblings. Here's some more photos of the Sandy Alcantara family. And Aridia actually took Sandy in for a period of time. Sadly, their mother has passed away, Francisca, and so Aridia, there she is, actually had Sandy living with her while she was already a mother herself from the time that Sandy was 8 until he signed with the Marlins at 16. So Christina Di Nicola's story really documents that beautiful relationship and how she had such a strong maternal influence on the man who is now the reigning Cy Young Award winner in the National League. And you just think about a family of 11 siblings and what her influence was at a time when obviously, certainly he was missing his mother and she was as well. They had that bond, Lauren, and that connection. And when it was time for Sandy to train with an academy and go off and pursue his dreams of pitching in the major leagues and leaving the Dominican Republic, it was his sister whose counsel and blessing he sought before undertaking that journey. So just a great story by Christina Di Nicola at MLB.com today about her influence. And also, speaking of the Marlins, Eury Perez making his Major League debut. So another great story by Christina about his journey to the Major Leagues as well.
You never forget the sacrifice of your mom. That's for sure. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, Mary Shahadi. It is around this time, and you heard D-Row talk about that teams try and find the magic if there isn't magic. Scott Servais trying to do that with Julio Rodriguez. Where will he hit tonight?
Right now, Lauren, the expectation is 6th yet again. So a bit of a surprise for the Mariners that they are where they are today. As great as things have gone for the Texas Rangers, as D-Row documented, it's been a struggle for Seattle. Still under 500 as they come here to Michigan for a weekend series in Detroit. And the idea from Scott Servais, and he certainly ran this by Jerry DiPoto, and a lot of conversation about this Mariner front office, what to do with J-Rod. The numbers just are not what you would expect from him. He is pressing. He is not on time for the fastball. He's chasing a bit more. All the underlying numbers that you see when a talented player is pressing, that's what you see with J-Rod. So moving down from the leadoff spot to 6th, J.P. Crawford likely to be the leadoff man for the time being. And for the Mariners, after beginning this year with so much expectation, Lauren, they now see the way that this division is playing out. Ironically, they're actually in about the same spot as they were after this exact number of games a year ago.
Wow.
And you also see one more name on there that is a bit of a concern. That's Teoscar Hernandez, striking out at a very high rate. It's been a bit of a role reversal as Jared Kelenic now batting 3rd. He's been the hitting star of the Mariners so far this season after the adjustments that he made. So I think for Seattle and for Seattle fans, they're just dreaming of a day when both Kelenic and J-Rod are going at the same time. And I think that's going to be the key for them as they begin a 3-game set in Detroit this evening.
And they're probably hoping another Luis Castillo walks in with his bag over his shoulder at the deadline. They're in Detroit tonight. Now we turn to our League Leaders segment presented by So Rare. So Rare is a fantasy baseball game transforming fans into owners. You collect, you buy, you sell, and you compete with digital player cards to win big rewards. Win or lose, you still own your cards. JP, you're focused up the middle, top middle infielders in the game. What do you got?
Yeah, so here we are, and now the key thing with the so rare middle infield position is catchers are included. So Sean Murphy, who we've celebrated a lot on the network this week, he is third on this list. How about Wander Franco, though, and Marcus Semien, too? I want to really focus on the two of them because both Franco and Semien had a bit of a down year last year by their own standards, and now they have come back in a huge way. And Wander Franco, when we've talked about why the Rays are off to such a great start, it's largely because their best player is playing like their best player yet again. And Marcus Semien, I think especially with Seager out, you think about what Semien brings to the Texas lineup. I just love watching these two talented middle infielders. And I know that I really think in this post-shifting universe, Lauren, that sometimes for some middle infielders, their athleticism is all the more activated because they're back to their natural mode defensively, which I think is really translating to some outstanding offensive production as well. And as a reminder, in so rare points, you love the home runs because it's worth 10 points in so rare. Stolen bases are 5, triples are 8. So one of our favorite plays in baseball, the triple, which certainly we see a lot of. You look at later on in the top 10, a name like Jorge Mateo can get you a fair amount of triples. But with Sean Murphy, his power right now and his overall contributions behind the plate, and certainly behind the plate and at the plate as well, Sean Murphy has been a difference maker for the Atlanta Braves. And I don't know, at some point, Lauren, I may have to put D-Row on the spot as closely as he watches that hometown team there in Atlanta to wonder who is the MVP in the National League right now.
Gosh.
I'm pretty sure he wears a Braves uniform. I think it's probably Acuna or Murphy, but two great cases right there.
Alex Anthopoulos knows what works with the club and in the clubhouse with all his additions. JP Morosi, thanks so much.